guys, this is Sarah from SarahsSeoulSearch coming to you from the internet. So today I'm going to be talking about the differences between American college and Korean college. For those of you who don't know, I used to be an exchange student in high school in Jeonju, South Korea after graduating from my high school in America, but I also attended Yonsei University as an exchange student, as a student from Georgetown University. So I'm going to be here to compare the two so that you know what to expect if you go to Yonsei or another Korean university as a college exchange student. The first difference that I want to mention in the application process. So in Korea, you are only allowed to apply for 3 universities, and the majority of your application is based on your score on the Sunu, or the Korean college entrance exam. This test is way harder than the American version of the SAT or the ACT, and it has a huge bearing on the rest of your life. It's also only offered once a year. So what a lot of people do is they become like 재수 or even 삼수 or even 사수, which means they take the 수능 for a second, third, or even fourth time before they're able to enroll in college. Because college applications are so competitive in Korea, the law dictates that you can only apply to 3 universities at a time. So for instance, Seoul University has an acceptance rate of about 0.5%, so 1 in 200 students gets accepted who applies. But the thing is, all 200 of those students actually think that they have a chance, which kind of goes to show just how competitive the Korean university system is. The second major difference that I want to mention is, I feel like in the United States, the main way that students and professors stay in contact is through email. However, in Korea, a lot of professors barely check their email, or if they do, they won't reply to your message. It's actually very common for students and professors to connect with each other via Kakao Talk. This felt like really informal and kind of weird to me, and it's also like I'm used to being able to have like a chain that I'm able to forward to other people or like use all the functionality that email has to offer. However, in Korea it's a lot more common to contact your professors via Kakao, if at all. The third difference that I want to mention, I feel like in America a lot of students are encouraged to go to their professors' office hours and to talk to them after classes are done. However, I found that this wasn't really the case at Yonsei, even though it's a very internationalized university. Like, I would try to set up appointments with my professors to talk about my papers or about like my aspirations and my career, and they were just kind of like why are you coming here? Like, why are you talking to me? Which was kind of surprising because I wasn't really used to getting that kind of reaction in the States. I did have a couple of professors who were really accommodating and friendly and did respond to my requests to meet up, and they were actually really helpful to me. So I am very thankful to them, but this is the exception and not the norm. So if you're going to be an exchange student in Korea, this is something you should expect. 4. In Korea, like every professor will usually take attendance at the beginning of every single class. I don't know about other universities, but at least at my school, at Georgetown, most of the time, attendance is only taken in really small seminar classes or in language classes. However, in Korea, like for every single class, we had to take attendance every single time. Which is kind of frustrating because the first 5+ minutes of class is just the teacher going through the names. But in Korea, attendance is required and it's a much bigger portion of your grade, and your attendance record is reported along with your grade, so it's very important to actually show up to class while you're in Korea. 5. In Korea, it's a lot more common for students to have a long commute from their parents' house to the university. I feel like the image that people come up with when they think about universities in the United States is that people like live on campus and there's very much like an integrated campus culture. While there are dormitories at Yonsei and at other Korean universities, most students actually don't live in these dorms. Especially in Seoul, most people who end up at universities like Yonsei, Korea University, and Seoul University, they've lived in Seoul their whole lives, so they commute daily from their houses. But Seoul is a huge city. It's 25 million people in the metropolitan area, so some people have a really long commute. My commute was about an hour and a half one way, twice a day, every day, because I lived with the host family. But I know people who commuted from Suwon or even Daejeon, which are completely different cities in Korea, and their commutes could be upwards of 3 hours one way, twice a day, every single day. I personally don't really understand why people do this, just because, especially in the university area, there's a lot of cheap housing to be found. And I feel like if you were to take those 6 hours that you spend on the train every day and just spend those 6 hours working instead, you could actually have more money than you would save by commuting. But that's just my personal opinion. This won't be a problem for a lot of foreigners who are visiting Korea as exchange students, but a lot of your friends will be commuting very long distances. So be aware of that when you're hanging out with them after classes. In Korea, people don't really take a lot of core classes from what I understand. When you apply to universities, you have to apply as a major. And you cannot change that major once you've gotten in unless you reapply to the same school again. And sometimes you even have to take the sunung all over again. But people within the same major are very close. A lot of times people will go on like MT trips at the beginning of the year, or They like drink together, they hang out together after classes, and they all have, at least at Yonsei and the other universities that I saw in Seoul, they have gwajam, which is literally like gwa jumpo, which is like major jackets. So like everyone will walk around with like jackets that say what their major is, and they all kind of like hang out in packs. I do have a gwajam, but it doesn't have a major designated on it, just because I wanted to have like a little souvenir from my time at Yonsei. So here's a picture of that. But yeah, not a whole lot of core classes. People will mostly be enrolled in major classes from what I understand. Another thing about class enrollment, most people take the full load that they possibly can. In America, it's pretty common. I think the limit at my school at least is 20 credits maximum, and the minimum is 12 credits minimum. But most people take around like 15-ish credits during their freshman to junior years. However, out of the friends that I met in Korea, most of them were taking like at least 20 credits. Some of them even like 22 or 23 or even higher than that. A lot of people do end up double majoring in Korea. Because the Korean employment environment is so competitive these days, you kind of have to have like some extra edge. So a lot of people will try to make the very, very most of their college experience. But it does add a lot of stress on top of commuting and sometimes working to be taking so many classes. One thing that I actually really prefer about Korean universities is their drinking culture. So I personally don't drink very much or at all most of the time, but in America I feel like, from what I understand, even though I haven't really been to that many parties, most of the time people will like have house parties or hang out with sororities or frats. We actually don't have sororities or frats at Georgetown, but like, this is my understanding of the stereotypical college culture in the United States. However, in Korea, because the drinking age is I think 19. So basically, once you've graduated from high school, you're allowed to drink. Also, you are allowed to drink in public. Like, you don't have to put a bag on anything. You can just do whatever you want. So what a lot of people will do, and what I did with my fellow busking members in the roadside busking club while I was at Yonsei, is we would go and like get dinner and hang out with each other and just to kind of like have a good time in Sinchon, which is a really, really fun college area. So I had a really good time with that. I was very fortunate to have friends that didn't pressure me to drink at all or more than I wanted to. I never had any like bad situations with that, but I personally prefer the college drinking culture in Korea over America. I don't know if this is the case at all universities in Korea or in the States, but from my observations at Georgetown versus Yonsei, it seems like student organizations or clubs are a lot less of a thing in Korea than they are at least at Georgetown. Because we don't have frats or sororities at Georgetown, I think we put a lot more emphasis on clubs than a lot of other universities in the United States might. So I could be viewing this through a biased point of view. But in Korea, even though I did get the opportunity to participate in a 동아리 or a club, it's like a lot of the people that I met didn't do that. And it's mostly just because like they don't have time, because they're taking max credits, they're commuting every day, and sometimes they're working. So just something to think about. Are you thinking about studying abroad at a Korean university? Let me know in the comment section below. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions for this channel, make sure to let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and to subscribe to my channel. Also, remember to click the little bell so that you get a notification every time I post a video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye!